Hi. Sorry. I meant to. Hi, this is Michelle from Erie River Publishing. We are here live today celebrating the launch of It Calls from the Veil, which is our newest It Calls from book. This one is all about paranormal and supernatural, everything like that. Erie River Publishing is a small independent publishing house located in Canada, but we have authors from all around the world. Some of them today are actually from all around the world, but some of them are also from Canada, which is amazing because it's always great to have multiple countries involved. Sorry. Yeah, Erie River Publishing, you can find us everywhere on Facebook, where you're probably watching now. We're on YouTube, where you can watch some of our older live events. We're also on TikTok. We're on Twitter, Instagram, as well as Twitter. And we do have also a Patreon if you want to get behind the scene looks at things. And that's also one of the ways that we're able to support our authors and move forward, because as a lot of people know, publishing is, especially in this day and age right now, a very hard kind of business to keep going. So we do have that Patreon if people want to support that, or you can always support by buying our books, which again is what we're here to do today. Talk about It Calls from the Veil. We've got 3 amazing authors that help contribute to this collection of horrific, terrifying, and just downright spooky stories. So let's introduce them. Our first one we're going to introduce is, sorry, Colin Leonard. And do you know what? I realized I didn't actually ask if that's how you say your last name.
It is. It's exactly that.
The amount of times I have said the wrong name. That's so bad. But you're joining us from where?
I'm in County Meath in Ireland.
Yes.
So if anyone has heard of County Meath, it's where Halloween was invented. So they say the hill of Clochta is just up the road from us, and we used to light big bonfires up there. So, and that became Samhain.
Cool. Okay, well, now I have another place that I have to visit because.
Oh yeah, more than welcome anytime.
All right, the next one on our list is Shelby. Here we go.
Hi,
Shelby. How are you doing today?
I'm good. And you?
I'm great. And you are all the way from Manitoba, Canada.
Yep, all the way. Manitoba, Ontario, yes. Right smack in the middle of the country.
Exactly. And how are you doing today? Are you good?
I'm pretty good. And you?
I'm great.
Okay, good.
All right. And then our last but not least is we have a Mr. CM Forrest.
Hello.
Hello. And you are joining us from Windsor, Ontario today. So we've got 3 Canada and 1 Ireland. No, normally I am the only Canadian in these things. So it's like, oh my goodness. It's very exciting. But let's talk about It Calls from the Veil. So this one is all about, sorry, I just got like a weird thing for my Wi-Fi, whatever. This one is all about ghosts and paranormal and supernatural. What kind of, when you saw this call come up, is there any reason why you submitted? Did you have a story already, or were you like, oh my gosh, I have an idea? Colin, what do you think?
I actually had a lot of the stuff I write is kind of ghostly or spooky or paranormal, and I had just finished a story that I wasn't sure where I was going to send, and I thought, Beyond the Veil, not Beyond the Veil.
It Calls from the Veil. We can call it Beyond the Veil. Do you know what that should have been the name? That's an epic name.
I think someone else has that one at the moment.
Probably. But
It Calls from the Veil, and it just called for me to send that story there.
Well, we're very much glad that you did. Your story is really, really, really creepy, and it's a lot of fun to read. And I think a lot of authors are going to readers. I guess some authors could probably read it too. I like it. We've got some people saying hi. We've got Emily. Hello, Emily. Emily is probably our biggest Erie River fan, and therefore I am her biggest fan. It's me. She's always on our lives. I love it. Mr. David Green. Hello there. And then we have Shelly as well. Hi, Shelly. If you
Hello.
are around and you're watching, you want to say hi, drop a line. It's always exciting. Mr. Forrest, tell us, when you saw It Calls from the Veil, were you immediately inspired, or did you have something that was like already there?
I wish I would say like I was just like inspired to write something, but I actually did have something already. I had a story I had written.
Two people now.
Yeah, you know, you just kind of write things and keep them in a folder until the right call shows up. But so I did have something. I was a story I loved, and the right call never came up for it either. They were always too short, and the story was too long for it, or it just never fit with the submission calls. And I didn't really want to change it too much, so it just kind of sat there waiting for this perfect opportunity. So when I saw the call for Veil, I was like, oh, this is a perfect time to send this. You know, so I was pretty hopeful that it was going to make it, and I thought I had a good feeling about it. So I fired it off, and hey, look at here we are.
Exactly. Shelby, sorry. What about you? Are you did you see it come up and write for it, or?
So It Calls from the Veil came up in the author suggestions that we were taking for new It Calls series.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure I was the one who suggested it because I love ghost stories. And I was like, I'm going to see if I can get everybody to write ghost stories. And then that was the one that the patrons voted for. And so here we are. And like, because ghost stories are like my favorite, I knew I was going to have to try and do something. So it actually, this one, it took me a very long time to figure out, to work everything out and have something that I felt good about submitting to the call.
Yeah. Well, it worked out. And you're actually the first one that's going to read. So,
yeah.
Oh, we've got another ahoy. So hello.
Hello.
Okay. So before we get into like what everyone wrote and things like that, why don't we start? We're going to do individual readings, and then we'll talk about inspiration and the story. If anyone has any questions during the readings, please feel free to put them in the comments, say hi, and then we'll address them. And then at the end, we'll have like a group question and answers. You can ask us pretty much anything. So, woohoo. All right. So I'm going to say goodbye to Christian and Colin right now. And I will see you guys soon. Goodbye. We'll see you again soon. Okay. Now it's just you.
It is just me.
Spotlight is there.
Yeah, it is. It's very bright.
So we're doing It Calls from the Veil. I don't know why I keep saying. Fantastic collection. I love the way that this came out. The stories are just amazing. And we are really lucky we got the foreword done by Nikki, who does oh my gosh, my brain just exploded. I forgot what she's Dark Between the Pages. I always want to say Between Dark Pages, but it's Dark Between Pages. She does a YouTube channel, just author things. She's got TikTok, and she's all over the place. And she's such a great supporter of horror. So we're really honored to have her forward in here. But your story, let's talk about your story. We call it, sorry, it's called Goodbye.
It's called Goodbye, yes.
Well, Goodbye. So tell me about the story. Did you want to just start reading it, or do you want to talk a little bit about it first?
I can read first. That's
okay.
All right.
Absolutely. Okay. Go on your reading. Just nod or something when you're done, and then we'll talk about inspiration and all that other fun stuff.
Okay.
All right. I will talk to you soon.
All right. I guess we're all focusing on me. So hello, everybody. My name is Shelby Suderman, and I wrote the short story Goodbye for this anthology, which you know is It Calls from the Veil. So I'm just going to start. This one is set during 2020, and it's got like different timestamps. I'm just going to read a section from July 13th, 2020 evening. Rachel, the goodbye is on the board for a reason, Livia assures me, although she doesn't argue. It's enough that I'm agreeing to do this with her at all. We'll be perfectly safe. When I don't answer, she grins at me. Nothing's ever followed me home, and that's not about to start now. Just follow the rules and we'll be fine. All the same, I can tell she really doesn't mind using the board somewhere elsewhere. Yesterday, she'd searched for secluded areas online before settling on a small local historic site that's currently closed down due to the lockdown. The parking lot is empty when we pull in on a clear evening, an hour after sunset. We climb out of the sedan, and I survey the empty lot while Livia retrieves the board from the back. We can't go in, but there are picnic tables standing out front. Livia picks the one closest to the building in case the artifacts inside have spirits attached to them. I sit down directly across from her and watch as she sets up the board with practiced ease. Now, her voice is soft, but the spark at her eye betrays her. We both need to put our hands on the planchette, like this. I do as she instructs, copying the way she settles her fingers over the triangular wooden disc. Her enthusiasm helps to soothe my nerves as I follow her lead. Our hands carefully avoid each other, neither one of us wanting to make the other uncomfortable, with our mutual touch aversion. In a larger group, I wonder if she wears gloves or perhaps stands back and asks the questions. Not this time, though. The planchette needs at least 2 people. I eye her. How do we start? We could introduce ourselves, she suggests. We read the letters aloud as we direct the glass circle, what Livia calls the window, over the corresponding letters to spell out our names. We'd like to speak to anyone here who might be willing to communicate with us. Livia's voice is rock steady, and I try to let that comfort me enough to stop toeing the dirt with my shoe. Livia lets the answering silence hang over us undisturbed for a full minute before she says, "Is anyone here with us tonight?" I listen to the night breeze, letting it distract me, until suddenly, the planchette moves. My foot drops to the solid earth, the hair on the back of my neck standing up. My muscles clench, tension invading my limbs as the planchette tugs our fingers across the board to yes. I meet Livia's gaze, wondering if this is enough for her, knowing deep down that it isn't. "It's all right, Rachel," she soothes, her face alight with excitement. "We're perfectly safe." Seeing her this way is the entire reason I agreed to do this, and it helps mollify some of my unease. I make myself smile back and try again to relax. But then she asks the next question. "Are you a good spirit or bad?" She hasn't even finished before the planchette darts to the moon symbol, and my apprehension returns with force. "Liv?" "We're all right," she answers evenly. "I really don't like this." "I know." Her expression is sober. "Not much longer, I promise." My hands are shaking, but I manage to keep them on the planchette. "Why are you here?" she asks it. The planchette spells out B-O-R-E-D. Okay. "Did you die here?" B-O-R-E-D. Livia shifts uncomfortably. "What is this place?" B-O-R-E-D. "What's your name?" This time the letters are different. S-T-O-P-B-O-R-I-N-G-M-E. I let go. Livia looks up as I climb off the table and back away. And I'm going to stop there.
Hello. That's creepy. I love a good tale of a Ouija board. Like, I love the spirit board. I've done them too many times for it to be good.
Yeah.
But like this creepy, yeah, I enjoy the creepy vibe that you built in there. What was your inspiration for like this specific story? Is it like inspired by? Tell me.
Okay.
I'm decided I'm not going to feed you the answer.
No, so what came about is like basically I knew what kind of story I wanted to write, a ghost story, but I didn't really have a select idea. Like I came up with a very simple concept, which is kind of still in the bones of this story. It was much shorter because I was planning to make it short. It did not turn out short.
No, like yeah.
Yeah.
That happens. Have you met
yeah.
Tim Mendes?
I have. Online.
Well, yeah. Everything's online.
Yeah. So basically, like I had a very simple concept, and then as I was trying to expand it, I basically came up with a switch, or like I like had a thought like partly through as I was like kind of expanding on it, and then I knew I needed to do some sort of like I wanted to do something iconic for the call. I wanted to do like what is like, and I kind of settled on a Ouija board, like, like where do ghosts, like where does the ghost come from in the horror story? Well, one of the classics is the Ouija board.
Yeah.
And I wanted to try and bring that up and like tell my own version of the Ouija of the horror story that starts with the Ouija board.
Yeah.
So I had to like do a lot of research into like because I have never even seen a Ouija board in real life. I've just seen them like online and stuff or like that. I've never.
Can I mail you one?
No.
I'm like, I will make you one.
No. I did see a nice one. It was like a very 70s one, but it was actually just a cutting board. I kind of want it.
I'm like, you can make that work. Anything.
I could. Yeah. I just turn a cup upside down.
Board. Anything is a spirit board.
Spirit board. I could make myself one right now if I wanted to. But there were like things I had to research about like maybe I just don't read or watch enough stories with Ouija boards in them. Because like there were parts of this like of the questions like I researched all the questions I'm like, what are you talking about the moon and the sun? I know it's like, is that on there? It's just like, okay, so you ask this and then you ask this. I'm like, what?
Okay. So you did some really good research for it, which is fantastic. Very much appreciative. It's always nice when you can get a little bit, and I am shocked. And it could be just because like I grew up in a house where like a Ouija board was a part of our like our cousin get-togethers. We'd all get together a Ouija board, which is why all of our houses are haunted. But that's not the point. But wow. So well, I'm really it's very cool. Very cool. Does anybody have any questions? If anyone has any questions, by all means, please pop them below. But any of the characters based on anyone? Or is this like all just from your head?
They weren't really based on anything. I just kind of just whoever showed up in the first version that had or first version of the draft that had these characters in them, that's just who they were. And I like added like little like personality things to them to make them more different and stuff and like flesh them out a bit, but otherwise they were just as they were, which is usually how it works with me with short stories because I don't really want to spend as much time developing every little thing. Like these are the characters that showed up and like, okay, that's who we have then.
Excellent. Very cool. Well, thank you for reading and thanks for submitting it. Like it was your idea because again, she Shelby is in our patron. So she was able to vote and help like decide what our It Calls From theme was this year. Yep. And this is the one that you set out to do and you voted on it. So congratulations. And you made it in. And
yes,
these again are red blind. So I have a big plane going overhead. I live by the airport.
Oh, that's fun.
So it's exciting that not only did you want to read it, but you actually got to write for it and it got put into it. So congratulations. Yeah.
It looks so pretty.
Yeah. The books themselves are amazing. I really love how it came up 135. Yours is on page 135. As long as I put this in correctly. I was going to say, goodbye. So yeah, right there. Like
there it is.
I think they really like it. Just looks really, really cool. I love how they came out. So that's for everyone to look. Someone said, go get a board. Go get a board. Get her a board. Of course, like I can't even read that today. I'm not reading. Okay, well, we're gonna say goodbye for right now. And then we're gonna bring Colin up to talk about his story. So thank you again for reading and for submitting. Okay. I love that story. I think people are gonna really enjoy it.
Okay.
All right. Bye. Okay, Colin, are you ready? Okay, he looks like it's ready.
Yeah.
It's not putting you on.
All good.
Good. So your story, it's always good when I like remember everyone's names.
That was a great
Done
reading by
deal.
Shelby, by the way.
What?
That was a great reading by Shelby.
Yes.
I love a Ouija board story as well.
I love it. I feel like to me, I don't think you can have enough Ouija boards in there.
No.
I did have to make sure we didn't have too many in the actual book because like there were a lot of Ouija board stories that came out.
Okay.
But your story is done deal. And I know you don't have your copies yet. They have
No,
been,
I have my digital
you
copy.
got your digital, but this is what yours is. Your page 88.
It'll be a while before it gets to me, I think.
Well, hopefully it'll come soon.
Yes, I'm sure it will. It depends on the postal service.
Right. So do you want to talk about your inspiration before it, or do you want to give us a little synopsis of what the story is about before you read, or do you want to just to like run into it?
I'll give a little lead in, I suppose. I don't know if you guys Dundee over here is a little bit like Craigslist.
Okay.
Or buy and sell. So it's kind of about buying secondhand stuff. So Owen, who's the main character, buys a secondhand bed for his son, and
yes,
things don't go well. So where I'm going to read is he's collected the bed from a particularly creepy looking fella in a big house in the middle of the countryside, who said he's selling it for his wealthy neighbors.
I remember reading your story and I went, yes, because it went everywhere I wanted it to go. So and I'm glad you told me Done Deal was that, because I had no idea where the name came from.
Yeah, that I wasn't sure if you'd get it outside here, but
no, it's good to know, because like if I said Kijiji, you'd probably be like, what the heck is Kijiji?
Sounds delicious, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's like a done deal.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I'm loving it. Okay, I'll let you start reading and then we can chit chat. If anyone has any questions like throughout the story or comments, please throw them up. Okay, I'm gonna remove myself. Wait. I almost removed myself from the entire system. Okay, there we go.
The most pleasant thing about Owen's start time at work, and the fact his commute wasn't overly long, was he got to have breakfast with Melissa and Cian before they embarked on the school run. He had a routine where he rose, showered, dressed, and got some coffee brewing before rousing his son. Melissa was tumbling cereal into 3 bowls when he pushed open the door of Cian's bedroom and took a moment to admire the fruits of his bargain hunting. Cian was fast asleep in the bunk, wrapped up in the red and white of his official Arsenal duvet, with footballs, cannons, and crests all over it. His head was covered over like he was snuggled up in a cocoon. There wasn't any motion from him. "Rise and shine, Cian," called Owen. Just before he made a move towards the bed, he became aware of a presence behind him. He turned. Cian stood there in his pajamas, yawning and squinting up at him. "I had to go to the toilet," he said. "Is it morning?" "I thought you were still in bed. You left the shape. Look." Owen pointed towards the duvet. "How was your new bed? Comfy?" The boy made a gesture that could have meant anything, but turned into another yawn. "Time to get dressed anyway. Where's your uniform?" During the bed assembly, Owen had stuffed bundles of clothes into the wardrobe from where they'd been strewn on the old bed. He rooted around for them now, while Cian sat on the stool under the bunk. "Here we go." Owen sniffed the navy blue school jumper. It smelled of cut grass. "Were you playing football in your uniform again?" The shape in the bed unnerved him now that he could see his son sitting down below it. For a moment he had a flash of what it would be like to have 2 kids. He reached up and was about to shake out the duvet, but something made him hesitate, and he prodded the shape first. It was firm. "Cian, did you put something under the covers? Did you make a body out of teddies?" but it felt too hard to be constructed from soft toys. Or footballs. You playing a trick on me and your mother? Owen knew he should just pull back the duvet, but for some reason he didn't want to. He didn't want to see what was underneath it. Said Cian. I'm too big to bring teddies to bed now that I'm 8. I only do it when there's nightmares. Were you playing a trick on us, Cian? The boy mopingly pulled on his trousers and then his socks. No, Daddy. Melissa appeared at the door. Everyone up? How was your new bed, Cian? Fine. What's that? She asked. Owen didn't say anything. He spidered his fingers against Cian's shoulders to try and get him dressed quicker, stood the boy up and ushered them towards the door. What's under the sheets, Cian? Said his mother. Owen, what's going on in here? He twisted his lips into a tight pursed shape and stood blocking her path to the bed. I dunno, it's nothing. I just got a funny feeling, that's all. Is there something underneath the covers? I don't know, I haven't checked. Why not, Owen? Why haven't you checked? But she wasn't making any movement in that direction either. Come on, we better have breakfast or we'll be late. He closed the door behind them. Cian ate his cereal in sleepy silence while his parents stared at each other over untouched coffee. What is it, Owen? Is there something under Cian's duvet? Cian, said Owen, what time did you get up to go to the toilet? Not sure. And was there anything in the bed with you when you woke up? Oh God, said Melissa. Why don't you just look under it? Owen stood up and slung on his jacket. I have to go. I'll be late for work. But what's under it? I'll ring you later. He kissed her bemused face goodbye. On the drive into work, Owen couldn't settle on music or talk radio, so by the time he arrived at the office, he was still listening to silence. There was a black piece of rubber on the floor of the passenger seat, and he recognized it as being off one of the legs of the stool that went with Cian's desk. He'd been momentarily annoyed last night, thinking it was missing, a slight wobble in the stool being a reminder of its second-hand status. At least he had found it, but he didn't pick it up. He wondered if he would ever bother reaffixing it. That seemed so far away from something he would do now. Owen couldn't align his thoughts about this morning clearly, and he didn't want to get out of the car until he had done so. There was something wrong, that was certain. What? A bump under Cian's duvet? A solid shape? It had to be something Cian had put under there. But why had it unnerved him so much? Why had he not been able to look under it? Why hadn't Melissa just thrown back the sheets either? The image of that action made him shudder. What the fuck did he expect he would see? Sinclair opened the front door to the offices and frowned over at him. Owen checked the time. He'd been sitting in his car for 15 minutes trying to catch hold of rampant thoughts. Forget about it, he told himself, and got out of the car. What are you doing sitting out there? Asked Sinclair. Hey, did you manage to get that bed yesterday? That's me.
That is. Your story killed me when I read it the first time. I loved it so much. It was so creepy. Just like the way you built it up and just like, where was this inspiration from? Like, obviously it wasn't the call that was the inspiration, but but where did you get that idea?
I wanted to write something that was very much set in reality, and the idea of a kind of cheesy 80s occult practitioner for hire was in there as well. But the way it kind of went along was, if creepy things started happening to you in real life, it's not like the way we shout at horror movies saying, you know what's happening, get out of there. Like, we don't know what's happening. If stuff started happening that was freaky like that, we would just keep going along or think we're mad, or we wouldn't know what to do until, like, there's a shape under the bed. And, you know, I wanted to build up as well till the very end to see what was under it and what we thought was under it, and try and make something worse.
I'm not saying anything about it because it's. If you haven't read it yet, get it now because it's a good story, and it really does. Like the whole time, I was uncomfortable the entire time reading it, and I think that's the beautiful part of horror, and this story did that for me. So thank you. And Shelley goes, "Ooh, creepy." It is creepy. So yeah, again, Calls from the Veil. You can get it for $2.99 right now. It's only going to be that for about another week, and then it's going to the $4.99 normal price. It's also available in paperback and hardcover. And thank you so much for reading and for
Thanks for having me.
submitting. So I'm going to say goodbye for now, and then I'll bring you back at the end. If anyone has any questions or anything like that, we can chit chat.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Mr. Forrest, are you ready? Okay, good.
I'm back.
You're back. We're here. So your story, Playland, is it Playland?
Yep.
Yeah. This was an exciting story. I really enjoyed reading this one as well. Do you want to give us a little sneak peek into what the story is about before you start reading, or?
Yeah, you know what? Because then that way too, I can kind of set up where I'm going to be reading from.
Okay, yeah, good spot.
So Playland is about a playland, and if nobody knows what that is, it's basically those play areas inside of like fast food restaurants, like McDonald's or Burger King, those big wild jumble of tubes and slides and things, and they're always like inside. So, having to sit there watching my kids playing these things for years, they're somewhat horrific, really. And it's like almost the worst place to be. So it was easy inspiration for the story to write a story about that. And this story specifically is about a guy named Robert, and he's taking his daughter Lily there, and he kind of isn't really paying attention. And then when he starts looking back up for her, she's gone, and everybody's gone in the play. Like no one's there, but he's sure she's gone, and so he starts to panic. And
yeah,
that's actually where I'll start reading from. That spot.
Perfect.
Yeah. So do you want me to read?
That is like the scariest thought, is like your kid is no longer in this.
Oh yeah, you're pretty much like the first thing that goes in your mind is that like the worst thing is immediately, right? Yeah. So it's like, okay, so I'm gonna read from there, and also this is a very pretty book. You killed this one, Michelle.
Good, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
All right. So Robert blasted through the glass door leading back to the main seating area of the restaurant and darted toward the counter. He knocked into a group of teens mixing various flavors of soda into their cups at the fountain machine. A nasty comment followed by snickering was left in his wake. Robert barely heard them, though, as his own breathing, short and rapid, filled his ears. He felt like maybe he was having a heart attack. A girl, not yet 17 if her acne-covered cheeks were to be believed, smiled at Robert from the other side of the counter. The plastic badge on her chest revealed her name to be Edith, a name completely at odds with her apparent young age. "Welcome to my daughter," he cut her off. The unexpected response caused Edith to rock back slightly on her heels, like his voice had physically pushed her. Her eyes darted for a second, in search of what, Robert couldn't say. "Is everything okay, sir?" "No," he could barely get the words out. I can't find her. My daughter." Edith visibly swallowed and glanced around a second time. Where was she, sir?" "She was in the playland. We were eating, and I looked down at my phone for a minute," only it hadn't been a minute. His attention had been off his daughter for longer than that. And now I can't find her." He was aware he was twisting and bending Lily's shoes as he spoke. Edith, eyes wide, called over to a young man wearing a black shirt. Robert realized this fellow had been the source of her wandering gaze. His name tag identified him as Timothy, and that he held the coveted position of shift manager. She relayed the message. "Have you checked the bathrooms?" Timothy asked. His tone hovered between concerned and annoyed. It was as if he wanted Lily found so he wouldn't have to fill out the paperwork that would almost certainly be involved with a lost child. Robert flushed with embarrassment. He hadn't thought of the bathroom. Although he doubted Lily would venture off to the restroom without him, she was constantly trying to prove how much of a big girl she'd become. It wasn't completely out of the realm of possibility that she would attempt the trek alone. "No, I haven't." "Okay, Edith, go check the ladies' room for Lily," Robert blurted. "Go check for Lily." Edith hurried around the counter and headed for the bathrooms. The shift manager, his dark hair stiff with too much product, leaned across the counter and smiled at Robert. Don't worry, sir. I'm sure your little one is in the building. Did you check the playland thoroughly? We've had kids play tricks on their parents before. He rolled his eyes and made a clucking sound with his tongue. They don't understand how upset it makes their folks. But kids will be kids. Maybe go take another look. If she isn't there or in the restroom, which she probably is, then we can check the cameras. Robert nodded. His body had grown numb. As he rushed back to the glass door leading to the playland, a single thought corkscrewed through his mind. She's already gone. He had a vision of a car, probably something nondescript, a Toyota Camry or a Honda Accord, the kind of vehicle nobody looked twice at, driving farther and farther away from him. A car that had his daughter in it. Don't fucking think that, he scolded himself. But he couldn't help it. His mind had become something else. A gray matter Mr. Hyde tormenting him with visions of his baby in the most horrible places possible. Lily, he yelled as soon as he cleared the door. Nothing. The room was still empty. Robert wasn't sure if he would have felt better or worse with an audience. One thing was certain. He wanted to cry, but felt like it wasn't the time for such a thing. As if the act of crying would make his nightmares a reality. As if it would cement his daughter's fate. The playland, looming like a many-armed leviathan, seemed to grow, breathe as Robert rushed toward the black maw yawning open along the front. Lily, please, Daddy is not playing anymore. If you're in there, it's time to come out. She's not in there. She's crying in the back seat of a forgettable car heading toward the highway as a man with dead eyes tells her to shut up before he gives her something to really cry about. Robert let out a frustrated groan at that thought. A small, playful laugh, born from deep inside the plastic innards of the playland, bounced off the tubular walls until it reached the circular hole Robert leaned into. It was Lily. He was sure of it. A great wash of relief flooded through him, a deluge he was happy to drown in. Lily, he shouted, dropping her shoes and squeezing through the hole. Damp heat greeted him upon entering the structure. It was easily 10 degrees warmer within the confines of the plastic tubing. How can kids stand to be in here, he wondered. Besides the temperature, which was already causing small beads of sweat to burst forth along his hairline, there was also the stench, a pungent aroma of dirty feet and filthy clothing mixed with an underlying stink of vomit. Robert gagged with the first lungful of air he sucked in. It didn't take long to realize he was far too large to be navigating the thing with any sort of ease. The plastic underneath him was hard and unforgiving. Each crawling slide forward sent a rake of fiery pain through his knees. The sides of his jacket brushed along the interior of the tube, and his head grazed the ceiling. Lily, come out now! He stared into the length of pipe before him. The shaft ended at a 90-degree turn, a half dozen feet ahead. I'm stuck, her voice wafted down from somewhere above. Robert sighed. All right, honey, I'm coming. A giggle, like the jingle of a delicate bell, was the only reply. That's actually where I'm going to end. But it gets really bad for Robert, trust me.
Yes. Crazy. It's I wish someone had told me how awful Playlands were before I started going to them.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Because it is the scariest. Like, your mind does. You're just sitting there screaming your child's name, going like, someone please answer back, into like this void of Playlandness.
Yeah, it's the worst. They're the worst. They smell bad, and there's kids. Like, nobody likes any of their kids but their own, and there's like all kinds of kids there that aren't mine. And I'm like, I don't like any of you. Like, and I'm stuck here. It's terrible, and my kids never want to leave. It's the worst.
Shelley agrees. Playlands are a horror story unto themselves, and this is a horror story that is all about Playland. So, exactly. I really like where you went with the story. Like, not only the horror of the parent, but like what happens next.
Yeah.
Really, I enjoyed that twist. I don't think I saw it coming when I read it the first time, which I enjoy because there's not that often that you get kind of surprised by a story. So I really enjoyed that. So thank you so much. Was there any inspiration for this? Obviously, Playlands. But like anything specific, or just sitting there at McDonald's
really. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't even know when the idea like came to me. It just I was writing some short stories and it just was there all of a sudden. And there was something else I was always very intrigued with, like a kind of a subgenre of horror. I'm not going to say what it is because it actually would kind of somewhat spoil the story.
Yes.
But that has to do with the ending that I really like, and it's not something you see a lot of. So I wanted to add that in as well. Very mysterious. You're gonna have to read the book now if you haven't read it, because like everybody out there, you got to know what I'm talking about. Being so
Yeah.
vague, it's like, geez, yeah. But
Hook, line, and sinker.
yeah, but
I'm in it now.
but no, nothing beyond that, honestly. Like it just felt like a very creepy idea when I had it, and it just, like I said, my own aversion to being anywhere near them helped out a lot.
Excellent. No, it was like I said, really enjoyable story to read and get into. And I think all the stories on here, this is probably one of my favorite collections thus far. And I want to say that I almost say that every single time, but I love ghost stories. Like this is my jam. So like when I was reading through these stories, I was just, the ones that stuck out, like hit all the notes that I was looking for in just different ways. And I think we did really awesome with these. Let's bring everyone else out to the screen just to let you guys know, Colin and Shelby, you're coming in. Boom. I know. Hi.
Hey.
I worked on a little tiny itty bitty video just to kind of give the essence of the book. So I'm going to put that on. Now, it's not a horizontal one. It's vertical. So we're all going to be able to see ourselves unless you go to the center of the screen and then you can hide yourself. It's literally 6 seconds, but I wanted to show it. Anyways, that's
Brilliant.
it. I thought it was exciting.
It's good.
Yeah. The artwork is really
it's
cool.
on TikTok. But so this is The Veil. This is our book. If anyone has any questions, put it through. But I've got a question for you guys. Do you believe in the supernatural? Let's start with the person right. Oh, there. Sorry. I even twisted my arm so I could go the same direction.
Sadly, I do not. I kind of wish I did, but
even a little bit.
Like, no, not really. I just don't. But I do wish I did. Like, I know people who are like, they're so convinced that like their house is haunted, or like they've like met ghosts, and I'm like, like that sounds fun, but like you're wrong.
You're a liar.
Yeah, but I wish I did, but I don't. To be honest.
That's okay. You're allowed to be honest. How about Colin? How about you?
I kind of do, in that I think there's obviously so much we don't understand, and we call these things that we don't understand ghosts. That's our word for a lot of them. And the energy of the dead has to go somewhere.
Yeah. See, that's I'm kind of on that wavelength as well.
By the way, I just wanted to give a quick thank you to Lindsay for doing a great job on editing my story as well.
Lindsay, we had Lindsay Smith from Horror-Smith Editing. She did the edits on all of these, and she did a fantastic job on them. I think she did a lot of just making everything kind of cohesive, and so you enjoyed the edits and the suggestions she put forward?
Yeah, absolutely. She got rid of a load of weasel words.
Yeah. No,
she was a big help.
Yeah, yes. That's excellent. Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed working with her. We've had some good experiences with her in the anthologies so far. So hopefully we'll be able to continue, because she's opening up her own kind of stuff too. So I know she's really busy. So hopefully we'll still be able to do some anthologies with her as we go forward. How about you, Shelby? Are you a supernatural believer? You've got to be if you won't even touch a Ouija board.
I don't know. I am in that weird zone of, I know some things definitely aren't real. Like, I will rant forever about people who will say, that aliens built the pyramids or whatever. I will go on forever because I hate that conspiracy theory. I hate it so much. But then there's other things that are just like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's real, maybe it's not. I'm not going to assign it one or the other. I'm open to ideas either way. I have some, I don't know. I just don't want anything following me home on the off chance there is something.
Yeah.
So that's basically where I'm at.
Yeah. No, that's understandable because really, like being followed home by an evil spirit is, even by a good spirit, let me tell you, it's annoying sometimes. We do have a question. What is everyone's greatest fears? That includes you, Mrs. Siri.
Like phobias?
Greatest fears. So I'm going to say it's up to interpretation unless he wants to clarify. My greatest fears. Ugh. Who wants to go first? What's your greatest fear?
I'll go.
Okay, there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of like a wuss, so I'm afraid of a lot of things. But I would say like well, it changes when you know, it's cliche, but when you have kids, like things change, right? So like, you know, I mean, it's kind of reflected in Playland. Like that's a thing that before wouldn't be a greatest fear of mine, but it's like all of a sudden losing your child is, you know, like I don't mean like losing like they die. I mean like actually like you lost them. You don't know where they are, which I've done before. One time I left my kid in a grocery cart in the ice cream section in a grocery store, and I just walked away. I forgot they were even in the cart. I left them and the cart. I was just like on the other side of the store, like getting ready to leave, and I was like, oh shit, and I ran back and got them. But I mean like, so it can happen. That's what makes it scary to me. Is like it's totally plausible. Like I could leave them somewhere and not know for a while, and then be like, oh no. So that's probably my current greatest fear.
Leaving your kid in another ice cream aisle.
I think I was so excited by ice cream. I just was like overwhelmed by the possibilities of all the flavors, and I don't know.
I feel you. Like that's
yeah.
We are saying that phobias do count.
Okay.
So Shelby, what's yours? Do you have a phobia?
It's got a name, but it's the one where you're in like really deep water, like in the ocean somewhere, and it just goes on forever into the darkness and you don't know where it goes, and there's something lurking in there, and you're like slowly leaving the surface, just drifting farther down. That one.
Okay, cool.
Yes,
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that is
it has a
also
name,
terrifying.
but yeah.
Fall into the sea of phobia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shelly says at least you left them with ice cream.
That's true.
Tell me you actually left them with the ice cream at least. Like you did.
Yeah, like think how bad it would have been had I left them like in like the vegetable aisle. Like that's not even a thing kids want. At least like they were probably like, yeah, it's okay. I got ice cream.
How about Colin? What about you? What are you terrified of?
I'd be like Mr. Forrest. I have 3 little kids, and anything to do with them is quite scary. I did do one thing. Well, I did lots of things, but I did one really thing that freaked me out once. I was sawing some wood with a handsaw when my firstborn was a little guy, and he's toddling around. And next thing, I just got a sense behind me, and a hand went through, and I could see there was a little graze across the fingers where he just reached for the saw. So that was almost one of my greatest fears come true. But other than that, I don't like eye things. If it's phobias, things in their eye.
No.
I'm like, I just had a double eye infection because my entire family was getting over a cold, and it hit me the worst because like I'm the one that doesn't sleep, and I was just having to put stuff in my eyes for like an entire week. So the worst nightmare. It was gross. Like I'm not leaving my house. My greatest fear before kids, after kids are totally different because like anything with, I'm scared of leaving them in my car. That's my biggest fear. Or we have like a little pool right now, and I wake up sometimes going, oh my gosh, is the lid on the pool? Like that. Before that, I don't know. I don't really like, I'm not scared of death. I am scared of heights. What am I talking about? I'm scared of heights. I'm irrationally scared of heights. Not heights that will kill me. Like, I'm okay with dying, but I'm not okay with like breaking a foot.
No
Like,
bungee jumps.
yeah. Like standing on chairs or ladders, like I get like panicky on any height where if I fall, I could like inconveniently like just hurt myself. That's my fear. And walking up the stairs in the pitch black and there's a murderer behind me. Like, you know, when you're a kid, you have to like turn all the lights off and like run up the stairs as fast as you can.
That's quite the range, Michelle. It's like falling off a chair or being attacked by a murderer in the dark.
Could be a ghost murderer.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I am afraid of murderers, but
Well, that could happen. You know, it's
yeah,
totally reasonable. It's not an unreasonable one.
that
It
is
could
a-
happen.
that
People
is
get
a-
murdered.
That is reasonable.
What do you know?
Okay, we're going to wrap up pretty soon, but I want to ask you guys while I have you here, what are your writing rituals for when you're specifically writing horror? And then we'll go through everyone and then just tell me what you're working on next after that. And then we'll say bye. So, Colin, do you have any writing rituals?
No, I got better at writing once I learned to write anywhere at any time. So I write in car parks, in benches, anywhere I can pick up a few moments. I just take out my tablet and write. So
Yeah.
I try and stay away from any kind of rituals writing wise.
That's a good way, especially if you have kids, man. Finding 5 minutes can be like a miracle. Like tonight.
Yeah.
We haven't been interrupted by
Well,
children yet.
they're long in bed, my ones.
Oh yeah, you're midnight it. Well, now you're
it's
past
5 to
midnight.
1.
Oh my goodness. Mr. Forrest.
Yeah, I'm kind of like Colin. I don't really have a lot of rituals for my writing. I definitely take advantage of the time I get. I do try to leave my house though. That's a thing. Like,
Yes.
if I can get out of my house to write, it doesn't matter. I can go to the donut shop or coffee shop. I go to the library a lot. But if I'm home, it's not even like my kids or anything that are the distraction. It's like all my stuff.
Life.
Like I'll be playing video games and watching movies and things. Oh, for sure. Like my PlayStation's the worst. It just takes all my time. So like I need to get away from it and then I'm good.
Yeah.
But and then a huge playlist on Spotify of every horror thing ever, so I can just listen and
Zone
go
into it.
Yeah.
That's good. How about you, Shelby?
Well, I can't really listen to music so much, but I listen to a lot of like ambient rooms and stuff like that. There's one YouTuber that I follow right now, especially it's really helpful for horror in particular. Miracle Forest. They create themed rooms. Yeah, Miracle Forest. I think it's one or two
We're
words.
all
It doesn't
writing
matter.
it.
Yes, write it down. But basically, it's like any horror thing or like setting you want. Like there's recently they did one that was like a creepy laundromat or like a Halloween town or like all of these different things. I try and find something that like fits the whatever I'm writing, and I kind of assign it that so that it gets like it kind of helps me get into the focus of that particular story. So like my brain gets used to it kind of thing. I had some places that I used to live where I used to write in silence a lot. I would have preferred that, but I kind of had to get used to putting on some background noise just to distract myself because there was just so much stuff going on around me. And so I had to like find like different, like I would do like just any kind of background, like, you know, rain sounds, whales, whatever, anything. But like these, I think they're really good for horror, and they really like put me in the mood to like come up with new ideas.
Yeah, I think that's good. That's excellent. I used to be one of those people where I cannot concentrate if there's any sort of distraction, which is why I'm like I'm like fiddly because staying still is very hard for me. And that's the same with like when I'm trying to focus on writing or finishing a project. So I found if I actually I found a coffee shop noise of all things, a coffee shop noise in rain. And it's the most relaxing, and like my brain can finally tune in when I'm listening to it and I can finish projects. So I think it's cool how we can all have different things that work for us and stuff like that. Now let's talk about does anyone have any projects coming up? Shelby, are you in anything that's coming? Do you have any solo projects?
Right now I have one story ready for submission, but that submission's not open yet, so I don't have any news for it. And then I have another one that I'm working on that is hopefully going to be done soon. And then I need to focus on my novel that I have been putting aside because I was writing goodbye. And then a couple other things.
Yeah. Well, where can we find you on social media? How do people connect with you?
So I am on Twitter at Shelby Suderman, and I'm also on Instagram that way. I should have links on my social medias too. It's like a link tree that you can find whatever you want. I'm also on Goodreads. I'm a Goodreads author. And then I have a author page, Shelby Suderman Author, I think is what it's called, on Facebook. If you want to follow me there as well. Yeah.
Excellent. And now, Colin, do you have anything coming up? Or do you have anything out?
Yeah, well, my big news is that my debut novel is coming out next year from Bridget's Gate Press.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
exciting. Tell us a little bit about that. When is it coming out?
That is coming out late next year, so either August or December, depending on, we have to do edits and all that stuff yet.
Yeah, I feel
but it's at the moment called Country Roads, and it's set in Ireland, and there's some evil mythological Irish creatures in it.
Excellent. That sounds amazing.
And other than that, I'm concentrating on shorts until we get into the edits of that.
All right, perfect. Well, congratulations. Where can we find you on social media?
I'm Collie Leonard pretty much everywhere. So if you take the IN away and put in a LY, I'm collieleonard.com, or Collie Leonard is my Twitter handle as well.
All right, awesome. All right, Mr. Forrest.
Yes. So
what do you have?
I have, well, I just had a novel come out, a little something called Infested through Erie River Publishing. Yeah.
Like, I've never heard of it.
Yeah. And a novella called We All Fall Before the Harvest through Timber Ghost Press. They both came out a couple months ago. And then upcoming, I have a short story coming out soonish with, we mentioned Lindsay earlier. So she is doing an anthology. Horsemith is releasing an anthology called Fear Forge, and I have a story in there.
Yeah, that looks really good. There's a lot of exciting authors in that one.
I'm excited to be in that one. And I have a story in the Fire anthology with Erie River coming up. Not sure when that comes out though. You might know that, Michelle.
Soon.
I
can't remember the date that I put on it, to be quite honest. I think I said October or November.
Fall. We'll say fall.
2 of the 4 books for the yearly call. So.
Yeah, and I got a novella I'm working on that I got sidetracked on, but it's back on track and should be done soon.
Excellent. Perfect. All right, and we've got some of the things. Love Infested.
Thanks, Shelley.
Yeah, congratulations, Colin. I'll watch out for it. That's from Shelley as well.
Thanks, Shelley.
Now, this comment, my brain has gone for it because they always get you on the stairs.
The murderers.
The serial killers.
Yeah.
They do always get you on the stairs.
You're most vulnerable.
Yeah. And Emily says amazing stories. So, again, Emily is one of our ARC readers. So she's read almost all of her books. which is amazing. She's a big supporter. It's great to have. Well, thank you everybody for coming again. And Calls from the Veil is out right now. You can get it in paperback, which is this lovely, like, I'm not going to say like I'm the most amazing artist, but like,
It's fairly
Yeah, it
cool.
looks great.
Yeah, I love it.
nice. They're nice.
I love the
so you
bottom.
get this paperback, and the hardcover has the same interior. And then ebook right now for the next week is $2.99, and then it will be going up to $4.99. So if you haven't grabbed it yet, grab it now. But thank you everyone for joining, and thank you so much for sharing your stories with us. I really appreciate it, especially staying up so late, Colin.
No
I'm
worries.
assuming you don't normally stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning like me.
It depends.
Okay, well then we're good. All right,
Thanks a
you guys have a
million,
great
Michelle.
night. Thank you again, everybody, for joining.
Thank you.
We're going to be doing another live event Saturday at 4 p.m. with some other authors. So if you want to hear some more stories, tune in then. In the meantime, have a great day.
Nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Yeah, you
Bye,
too.
everybody.
Bye.